Welcome to Books for Success, the channel that unlocks the power of knowledge and empowers you to achieve your dreams. Sit back and relax. Today's video is about the fantastic book, The Art of Saying No, by Damon Zahariades. Discover straightforward and practical tips to reject excessive or burdening requests from your friends, county workers, and acquaintances to prioritize your needs and live your desired life. Developing the skill of saying no will make you happier. People pleasers are incredibly helpful and always ready to assist you. They'll put your needs before theirs and sacrifice their own pursuits to cater to your wants. If you're a people pleaser and find yourself unhappy, stressed, and exhausted from always prioritizing others, this summary is for you. Learning to say no empowers you to focus on your personal and professional interests. This boost in productivity enhances relationships and brings a newfound confident calmness. Saying no can counteract a lifetime of influence from various sources like parents, teachers, bosses, and family, but the effort is worthwhile. Confidently and gracefully saying no will change how others see you. They'll respect your time, view you as a leader, and value you more. Transitioning from people-pleasing to self-prioritization can prevent resentment towards yourself and others. The Art of Saying No will guide you in this shift, helping you prioritize your own needs and desires. Learning to prioritize yourself is crucial, as no one else will do it for you. You can still support others when they ask, but the key is not to neglect your priorities. The skill of assertiveness is important in the art of saying no. Being assertive involves confidently expressing your needs and pursuing your goals, even when faced with opposition. It means communicating clearly, leaving no room for confusion. When you prioritize your needs over others, some may try to sway you, but being assertive means standing your ground. Assertiveness requires openly sharing your stance, even if it differs from friends. For instance, if a friend asks for a ride when you're busy, being assertive means respectfully declining. It's about honest communication, not a skill you're born with. You can develop it through practice. As you become more assertive, your mindset shifts. You'll comfortably share ideas, ask for what you need, and express opinions. You'll be better at saying no and less hesitant to speak up. While assertiveness and aggression are often confused, they're distinct. Healthy assertiveness is respectful communication of your position, while aggression is rude and threatening. Being assertive means listening before sharing differing views, while aggression involves interrupting and talking over. Aggression is impulsive and regrettable, while assertiveness is thoughtful and considerate. Assertive individuals clearly express their stance while acknowledging others' feelings. The goal is to learn how to say no without feeling guilty. Anyone can say no casually, but the goal is to learn how to express your point of view gracefully. And that means using a bit of grace, without guilt. People pleasers are usually caught in the act of losing their cool and saying no with a rebuff. A lot of people were raised to believe that saying no is rude and selfish. This belief becomes a significant part of our value system. We say yes to everyone around us, even as we become increasingly frustrated, embittered, and resentful. We want to avoid offending people. People often take offense at things that aren't intended to be offensive. An example is hearing the word no after they ask for someone's help. When someone asks you for your time, attention, or money, you respectfully decline the request. The individual's reaction is immediate and openly displayed on his face. The individual takes offense. Understandably, this causes you to feel pangs of guilt. We want to avoid disappointing people. A lot of times, we hate disappointing people. Seeing a sad look on others can make you feel you've let them down. It's more than just an intellectual realization. However, this guilt is unwarranted. You're not responsible for causing others disappointment when you say no to them. Disappointment springs from unmet expectations. You could not be held accountable for his disappointment unless you had previously promised to help your co-worker. We want to avoid seeming selfish. Most of us care about how others perceive us. We want to be thought of as kind, caring, and helpful individuals. To that end, we go out of our way to appear so through our actions. We don't want folks to think we're selfish. This thought process is understandable. But it's also wrong-headed. It can also spur us to make poor decisions regarding how we allocate our time and attention to competing demands. Self-care isn't selfish. It is necessary. If you always say yes to others, you won't have the time or energy to care for yourself. And you'll slowly become irritated. Why is saying no so difficult? Why are we so hesitant to utter it? We have a limited number of hours to play with each day. That means we say no to someone or something else every time we say yes to someone. It is not selfish to say no. We desire to help others. Think back to the last time you helped someone. I'll bet it felt good. Your actions or advice improved that person's day, which was probably fantastic. That's why many of us love to help people. Knowing we've contributed to someone else's happiness is its heady reward. It can be addictive. Some of us look for ways to help others, even if doing so means ignoring our needs and responsibilities. We struggle with low self-esteem. Self-esteem is a tricky, slippery thing. Sometimes, we're confident to the point that we feel we can conquer the world. Other times, we feel utterly insecure. These feelings affect how we perceive ourselves. They influence our self-image and shape our sense of self-worth. Recognizing this effect is important because it discourages us from saying no to people. Here's how it works. Burdened with a low self-image, we mistakenly believe our time is worth less than others' time. We wrongly think our goals and interests are inferior to other people's intents and interests. We want to avoid offending people. People can often feel offended even when no offense was intended, like when they hear a "no" in response to a request for help. You might have experienced this yourself. For instance, when you politely decline someone's request for your time, attention, or money, their immediate reaction might show hurt and resentment through their facial expressions. They might frown, have a furrowed brow, or tighten their lips. This offense can lead them to call your response rude, making you feel guilty. As you observe them walking away, their body language reflecting their displeasure, you might feel like you did something wrong. How to say no without feeling like a jerk. The biggest challenge you face when learning to say no is overcoming the feelings of guilt, fear, and shame that surface when you disappoint people. That's no small task. In many cases, it requires years of training. Be straightforward. When declining requests, it's best to be clear and straightforward. Don't try to sugarcoat or avoid, as that won't help. Instead, honestly express your unwillingness to agree. For instance, compare these two responses to a request for help. 1. I don't have time to help you. 2. I don't have time to help you because I'm working on a crucial report that's due in 2 hours. The first response might make the requester think you're rejecting them personally, potentially causing conflict. The second response removes any doubt and explains your decision logically. Be open, direct, and truthful in your communication. Before diving deeper into the golden nuggets from this incredible book, hit that like button if you're finding these insights valuable. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our empowering content. Don't stall for time. Recognizing stalling is easy, but we often hesitate when asked for help. Even when we know we can't spare the time or energy and the answer is no, we avoid being direct and delay our response. Stalling is unwise because 1. It gives false hope to the requester, making them think you might still help. 2. It shows indecision, and when you don't say no directly, the requester might push harder, thinking they can change your mind. Use a different word apart from no. Here are a few examples of saying no without using the word. I can't commit to that right now because I'm focused on a high-priority project. This response tells the family member you're busy and unable to leave work. This approach can be effective for any request. It'll work just as well when you're asked for money. Other ways to say no without appearing rude or insensitive. Resisting the urge to offer excuses. If you make excuses, you will likely feel guilty for misleading the requester. Worse, the requester will probably be able to recognize your deception. The better approach is to dismiss the request with a simple no and resist the temptation to say more. Avoiding excuses will make it easier for you to decline requests in the future gracefully. Taking ownership of your decision. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to say, "I can't," when someone asks for your time, money, or labor? For some of us, the response is practically automatic. It's a reflex. We say, "I can't," before considering what it means. When you must reject a request or invitation, express your decision as a personal choice. Instead of telling the requester, "I can't," tell him, "I don't want to," asking the requester to follow up later. This isn't a stalling tactic. Instead, it's a way to revisit a request when you have more time to think about it. It also allows you to put the onus on the requester while gauging the urgency of his request. Avoiding lying about your availability. Instead of lying about your availability and feeling guilty for doing so, being honest will help you develop and strengthen your confidence and resoluteness. You'll recognize that as long as you decline requests with grace, honesty, and respect, the requester's reaction isn't your responsibility. Offering an alternative. No one likes to be left hanging. When you say no, give the requester another option. It'll go a long way toward mitigating his disappointment at your inability to lend a hand. Suggesting another more qualified person. Instead of lying about your availability and feeling guilty for doing so, being honest will help you develop and strengthen your confidence and resoluteness. You'll recognize that as long as you decline requests with grace, honesty, and respect, the requester's reaction isn't your responsibility. Offering an alternative. No one likes to be left hanging. When you say no, give the requester another option. It'll go a long way toward mitigating his disappointment at your inability to lend a hand. Suggesting another more qualified person. You'll sometimes receive requests that other people better handle. Declining these requests is good for all parties. You can save time and focus on your projects and interests. The requester receives the specialized help he needs, and the person to whom you refer the requester will be able to show his proficiency. Saying no to yourself. We often face distractions that can take away our time, money, and energy. These distractions come as temptations that steer us away from our goals. When we give in to these temptations, we lose control and prioritize short-term satisfaction over long-term happiness. So, how can we handle this effectively? Here's a solution. Use "I don't" statements. These are statements where you declare what you choose not to do. For instance, if someone offers you a donut, you can say, "I don't eat donuts." If you're invited to a friend's house with unfinished chores, you could say, "I don't like leaving chores undone." Can we meet tomorrow? Identify different temptations and use "I don't" statements to help you say no. Conclusion. The art of saying no helps you be more assertive and stop the habit of saying yes to please people, though it doesn't address emotional issues. Saying no confidently preserves your convictions, boosts your confidence, and lets you move forward purposefully. Breaking the people-pleasing habit is challenging but doable. Regardless of how ingrained it is, remember the consequences of saying yes. Putting others' priorities first costs you valuable resources, especially time. Once lost, these resources can't be regained. Say no when a request harms you more than benefits you. Prioritize yourself over pleasing others. Thank you for joining us on this enriching exploration of The Art of Saying No by Damon Zahariades. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, remember to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback fuels our motivation to keep bringing you more powerful book summaries like this one. And hey, if you're hungry for more wisdom and want to support our channel and the remarkable authors we feature, check out the links in the description. There, you'll find easy ways to grab a copy of the book we discussed today and dive even deeper into its transformative insights. Your support not only helps us grow but also supports the authors who have dedicated their time to creating these life-changing works.